How do you make changes in your relationship that when everything you do doesn't seem like it works? Have you heard the saying that 95% of our behaviors are unconscious? If you have, you may be wondering, well, okay, knowing that, how does that even help me? So I thought I would bring you a kind of educate you around what the difference of your conscious mind and unconscious mind is versus even what subconscious means. Okay, this is really, really important to know because as you're trying to make changes in your relationship and you just aren't really getting the results you want, this is going to make a lot of sense to you. So the conscious and unconscious mind versus subconscious. We're going to actually start with your unconscious mind, okay? When you are at the ages of 0 to 7 years old, you are like a walking around little unconscious mind that's a sponge. It absorbs everything, okay? There's no filters, nothing. It's at a time when you believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, you believe that Superman is real and that fairy tales are real. You were probably a princess and you quite literally believed you were that princess and that was the fairy tale that you wanted to live throughout your lifetime. So you're this walking around sponge, an unconscious mind sponge, and your mind is just absorbing everything that's coming in. So think about the ages of 0 to 7. What kind of relationship did your parents have? If you even had both parents in your home, what kind of maybe fighting or abuse was happening? What kinds of things around even sensuality? I was molested when I was 4 years old. So there was sexual stuff going on when at a very young age that started programming. It starts programming your mind to think and behave certain ways. And the belief that we can't, remember when we were 0 to 7 years old, it's a true thing. We can't remember those things consciously. Because what happens is from the ages of 7 to 8, we actually create what's called a critical faculty. After 7 years old, we begin to have a filter that we start wondering if the tooth fairy is really real or if Santa is really real. We begin to become very conscious from the ages of 7 to 8. In between that time, we become conscious and aware of things that we thought were real, and a critical faculty begins to form to help us understand what is real and what is not real. What is fantasy and what is not? What is real? And so nothing wrong, good, bad, or anything about it. It actually protects us, our minds. But the thing is that once we become conscious of those things and we stop creating, we stop dreaming, and we have this critical faculty that filters everything, that's when we change, and our programming is so intact of how and after 8, we start modeling the people around us. It could even be modeling people on TV, different things, different people around us in our awareness. And we may take on certain behaviors that are so out of our awareness that they carry into our adult life. And then it shows up in our relationship and we wonder, well, gosh, I'm trying all these different things and all these different tactics and changing my behavior, but really, are you? Because it's all the unconscious stuff that's like deeply rooted in our unconscious mind. And we do have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. So when people talk about subconscious, okay, when people are like, oh, it's just subconscious. Well, subconscious is saying that the things that are unconscious, you're unconscious of, but it's saying that it's below the conscious mind, like it's below or less than the conscious mind. It's also a lot of things that are very unknown and full of theories. Okay, there's just so much theoretical information about the subconscious, but it's not actually talking about a mind. So the difference between subconscious and the unconscious mind is that the unconscious mind, it's no less than or greater than the conscious mind. It's just simply a different mind. They have different functions. So in the next video, I will explain some of the top 5 functions of the unconscious mind. For this video, the unconscious mind is an actual mind. So the unconscious mind is 11 million bits per second the unconscious mind can take in at a time. And the conscious mind can only take 126 bits of those per second. So the conscious mind's got to have some kind of filtering to filter out what the conscious mind can't take in from the unconscious mind, or else it's just going to be overwhelming and too much for the conscious mind to handle. So we actually throw out the word subconscious when you really know about the unconscious mind, because it's an actual mind. And subconscious, there's no better or less than mind, no greater, no right or wrong, none of that. It is a actual mind. And the unconscious mind is the very thing that, what's the feeling of your pants on your legs that you didn't feel at before, but now you just became aware and conscious about it because I pointed it out. The unconscious mind knows all of those things. It knows everything that you're surrounded by, but your conscious mind can only take in so much. So that is why there's so much unconscious. 95% of behavior is unconscious, because you're right, 11 million bits per second of information coming in at you at a time into your unconscious mind, whereas consciously you can only take 126 bits per second. So if you actually change the filters and say there's 11 million bits of toothpicks falling for the sky per second, okay? And your conscious mind can only pick up 126 of those bits. In your relationship, what 126 bits per second are you picking up? And if those are the bits that you're stuck in your mind and your emotions are pointing those things out and they're unresolved, you're gonna keep trying different things, but you're gonna get the same result because you're not actually going deep into the unconscious aspects of the 11 million bits per second that are actually being downloaded in your mind per second. And those unconscious things, when you know how to tap into those mental and emotional barriers and pierce through the critical faculty where all change of behavior is possible, now we're talking. Now that's when you're able to get results. So knowing that you have an unconscious mind, think of this. This is another aspect of your unconscious mind. Imagine where you picture your partner. And if you don't have a partner, imagine where, in what location of your mind do you imagine that person? There's a location for it. So mine's clear out here and I can picture it, okay? Those things are your unconscious mind. They store every single memory, every single picture, sound, feeling, all of your senses, all your self-talk. And so when we can reprogram those things and pierce into the critical faculty of your mind and access things, it's a gateway that opens up and empowers you with results in getting what you want in your relationship. You have to get to the deep-rooted mental and emotional barriers leaving you stuck, like anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, all that built up shame and resentment. and all of the arguments that are happening because those behaviors actually need to be reprogrammed. You're stuck because from the behaviors that you created and adopted from 0 to 7, coming into your adulthood are not serving you anymore. Think about this. How often do you update your phone or your computer? How often do you upgrade it? Get a new one. Why aren't we doing that with our mind? And that's the point. So if you want to know more, keep watching. If you'd like to book a call and see how I can help you get rid of your mental and emotional barriers and help you transcend your sensuality, I'd be happy to do so. And I'll put that link below.